What's going on, guys? I'm Tyler, and I'm here to let you know that Annihilation is no perfect movie. So in Annihilation, a group of military scientists enter this quarantine zone known as the Shimmer, and the biologist, played by Natalie Portman, is trying to find the root cause as to why everything in this zone, ranging from the plant life to the animals, are drastically mutating. Now I'm going to start off with the positives of this movie. For one, most of the acting is pretty good. Natalie Portman does a good job as usual, and she has an interesting motivation for wanting to join on this expedition, because her husband, who is also in the military, went into the Shimmer in a previous mission and barely came back out alive. And we see through flashbacks that she spends more time away from him rather than with him. So the main reason she wants to join on this expedition is to rescue him and make up for lost time, and I really appreciated that. The other members of the team, quite frankly, have little to no depth whatsoever. If there was any other member of the team that I rooted for, it was Gina Rodriguez, because she goes through a wide range of emotions over the course of this journey. She starts off an average woman before she enters the Shimmer, but once shit starts to hit the fan, she's like, okay, this is serious, we need to leave. And when the other team members say, no, we need to figure out what's causing this so we can help people, you can understand the frustration and the slow descent to madness that she goes through, and it never felt rushed or over the top. The other two members of the team, yeah, I don't remember their names, I didn't really care. And as for Jennifer Jason Leigh, look, I like Jennifer Jason Leigh, she's a good actress. But in this movie, she gave a surprisingly stiff performance. And I know she's supposed to be the stick-in-the-mud boss who you're not supposed to root for, but there are a couple of problems with that. One, because she is a stick-in-the-mud, yeah, there's no reason for me to care about her safety all that much. And two, Leigh didn't look like she was even trying. Her face was completely blank, and her line delivery was so stiff. She didn't sound or look as if she was really trying. And we never see her open up about herself as a character. If anything, the things that we learn about her are for other characters through exposition, and that just felt ridiculous, and it was full of facts that we wouldn't have even guessed about her. Like, one character says, hey, you know that woman's sick, right? And Portman just goes, I made a guess, and it's just like, how would we have guessed? There were no clues as to that being a possibility. The other positive is that Alex Garland's directing and narrative style does feel unconventional as usual, but in a good way. He does tell parts of the story out of order, but they never felt confusing because they were staged in a way where you can tell whether this was the past or the present. The on-set locations were beautifully filmed in steady wide shots. This is a gorgeous movie to look at. The effect shots were also well rendered, and they had creative designs in regards to these new animals or plants that are taking different forms. Like, for example, they walk into an abandoned town and they see these trees that are kind of shaped like human beings. And I'm not going to give anything away as to why that is, because the reveal was actually pretty impressive. But in regards to the directing, the cons I would say is that there's very little build-up to the scary moments. And whether you think this is a horror or a thriller, you still need to take time to build up each moment, let the atmosphere soak in, and let us be afraid for these people. Now, later on in the movie, they do take more time to do that, especially one sequence featuring a mutated bear that I closed my eyes during that. That was crazy. But early on, usually when something scary happens, people would be talking, having a normal conversation, and then in a split second, something scary happens. And I'm sorry, that's a really bad way to do a scary scene. It doesn't give you enough time to let the atmosphere and the tension sink in and be afraid for these people. And it doesn't help that you don't really know that much about these people to begin with. My main problem with this movie is that these characters don't feel like characters. They feel like exposition vessels just to explain the themes and symbolism of the story. And there are intelligent themes in this movie, I gotta give it that. There is one scene where Leigh equates the self-destruction of a person to self-destruction of a cell, and that was a simple comparison. Anyone can latch onto that. But because these characters are scientists, they equate the struggles that they're going through on this mission to their field of subjects. Biology, anthropology, physics, these are things that most casual people, and even some film nerds, know very little about, and we can't really connect to it because of that. There is one scene during the finale that goes on for like 20 minutes or so without dialogue, and even though it does kind of rip off 2001, it was interesting. It left things up to the imagination, and there were things that my friend and I, after the movie, were talking about, and we were piecing things together. So there obviously are key moments that can be analyzed and rethought of afterwards. I just wish the rest of the movie had moments that were more like that. And when they do spell things out to the audience, it's kind of insulting because these are things that we can easily pick up on ourselves. Like, for example, they see a camera left behind in one town. And it's just like, oh, a camera. The memory card's still in there. It's still working. No shit, Sherlock. I feel bad criticizing Annihilation just because of all the production problems that went into it. And I do appreciate the fact that Alex Garland did take a lot of risks in regards to the story. But here's the thing. Movies that have stories that are left up to interpretation, it is true that they do get better the more times you watch them and you rethink certain moments and analyze others. But here's the thing. The reason people rewatch any movie, let alone a movie like Annihilation, is because the first viewing has something that hooks you to it. The ambiguity in Annihilation just didn't hook me. That's really all I can say about it. For the most part, Annihilation does have good acting and good direction, but whereas some parts take a lot more time explaining the themes and messages of the movie, you could have spent more time building up the tension for the scary moments or giving more depth to the characters to make us appreciate the philosophies even more. And for that reason, I'm going to give Annihilation a 3 out of 5. Guys, thanks as always for watching, and if you've seen Annihilation, what did you think about it? Be sure to let me know in the comments below. Be sure to like, subscribe, check out my other reviews at noperfectmovie.com. And once again, thank you all very much for watching. Take care.